Since a juvenile, up in Spofford we was running wild. No non-secure, 18 months and then you touch it down. No phone calls to the world, shit'll break you down. Find out your brother in the morgue and they spinning now. And your grandma soon be gone, ain't no fixing that. And that phone gon' remind you got a minute left. I know they see a nigga stressed.
So special.
Other young nigga blessed. I paint this picture from a dark place.
Reform to make changes in something, typically a social, political, or economic institution, in order to improve it.
Oh, where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, a section of Bushwick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, usually when I say Bushwick, I get like a wow. But I grew up in Bushwick when you didn't want to be in Bushwick. Predominantly it was the crack era, which was the moment. You know, I was born in '79, so from '88 on, that was my acknowledgement of childhood. So I grew up in that midst of when it was in the core, just the violence, the drugs, and all the stuff that, you know, greed and grew the direction that a lot of us went into.
How would you describe your childhood?
Out of all my friends, I was probably the least one that was projected to go to prison. I grew up in a two-family household. My parents owned the building. My sister went to college. I was a great student. But the environment has a bigger hold because that's 24 hours a day. You know, and I don't want to say parenting isn't 24 hours a day, but they would work.
Right.
You know, so your neighborhood is your teaching. And I think regardless of who we were, you know, some of us just had a stronger odds of going to prison, but we all were at risk of it because the environment itself, it just was breeding that. You know, some of the life lessons that I learned was because of the streets. And I had all A's. You know, even if I fast forward to the moment of my arrest, St. John's University coach at the time was trying to come to court to adopt me because I had an AT&T scholarship to play basketball.
Wow.
And, you know, so even with all that, still the possibilities of me progressing in a good direction, the weight of negativity was just too strong. It was a magnet for us in that coach at that time.
At what age did, like, you see it like shifting in a different direction?
The strange part about it was, since I was of my conscious mind, it was shifting in the wrong direction. And I say that because everything around was just, like, our role models were drug dealers.
Right.
We had no role models. These were the guys that walked Miss Me across the street, carried all her luggage, her stuff to the house. They were setting examples, but then we saw them with nice cars, we knew what they did. So the blurred lines between right and wrong, negative and positive was erased. It was just an action. You could be the worst person and do the best things. So my transition, and I think a lot of people that we probably didn't acknowledge it, the path going in the wrong direction was kind of en route. It's events that happen along the way. And for me, it was my mother's death. When my mother passed away, it was so surreal. It was unreal to me. So now I'm placing myself in environments even stronger.
How old were you when she
I
passed
was
away?
14.
Oh, wow.
I was 14. And now I'm on the block a little longer. Now I'm with X, Y, and Z, who I know what they do. When I usually hang, what's up guys, and I leave. Now I'm there. You know? And now that just the events that took place around that just kind of just ushers you further. And I think that's what happened with me and a lot of brothers my age, or just even now to this day. We get ushered along the wrong path. We don't even realize that we own it.
Right. At what age were you introduced to the system?
15, 1 year later.
Wow.
1 year later, I was arrested for a murder charge.
How did that feel?
Again, that was unrealistic. You know, you watch all the movies, you see all the stuff, you know, you even see shootings. Like we saw shootings. The first time I saw somebody shot, I think I was 11 playing tag. The dude shot him while he was playing tag, put him on the shoulder and ran down the block. You know, like, so you see all these things and you think you're callous to it, or you know, you have a desensitization, which you do. But when you're in it, the realism becomes a fantasy. Like it's uncognitive. You can't even think of it clearly. I don't care who, I don't care how tough they are. I sat with the worst, I sat with the best. The realism of it affects you in a way that some of us can't even have the dialogue to explain it. And you see that in behavior. You see that when some brothers come home, that they have a hard time adjusting. Or you see how some people are knocking on the door of prison, like, let me in, while they're way in behavior. So I think that's one of the things that core grades us. And for me, it was the turning point was my mother's death really set me on. Nothing made sense. I didn't really hear anything. Nothing was real. I was still. And then, you know, as a young black man, we're groomed to be strong. We're groomed that we don't express ourselves. We grew. So it was I wasn't even mourning properly. I would go in my room and I would break down. Certain records would play. She had this alarm clock that no one knew how to stop. And it came on every day at the same time to play music. When that came on, it broke me down. But as soon as I came up my door, my fatigues were on, my boots were unlaced, my hat was backwards, and I'm back to the game. And what not being able to properly mourn, adjust, or express yourself, you're in a prison of yourself. And I don't want to sound like at that time I knew this. This is as like I didn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even go through my mourning. I didn't properly mourn to possibly my third year in prison when it hit me. It hit me. Like I had a real breakdown. It hit me like I'm in prison and I'm sentenced to life. Like I don't ever have to be free. It hit me 3 years later. And it comes to being stripped down to just you. Like a lot of times, you know, growing up, we're never alone with ourselves to the sense where we were our true self. When with my parents, I got a different pair of sneakers on. I'm wearing a different hat. When I'm with my friends, I'm wearing a different hat. I'm with a female, I'm wearing a different hat. But a lot of us never knew our true hat, like our true selves. And it wasn't until I was in the solitary confinement in the box, went like a whole week without speaking to a person when I was really I had no hats, it was just me. And all the realisms really made sense. And I don't want to say I came to terms with them, but I allowed my mental and my physical to be one. You know, I always suppressed it. One of them was suppressed. You know, if I was physically frustrated, I behaved in action. I was mentally frustrated, I withdrew. But that was the first time we were both together. We're like, yo, this is what it is, this is what we've been through. And that was, I finally got to me.
Right.
Like stripped down from religion, culture, friendship, perspective, rap sheet, whatever it is. I got down to the core of me. And I always say this when I tell people, at that stage, there's a slight insanity. There's a slight insanity you face. And some brothers come out of it, some brothers bring it. But I think that was the moment for me that it took almost the brink of insanity to build the man that I am, man. I would never let it go. Anybody who sits with me 10 minutes in, you know my story. I'll unleash it because that was a path for me that I'll never forget.
So when you were sentenced at 15, like how did that make you feel? Like in court, like how did you feel?
So
like, hearing that actually like your charges and what you're sentenced to.
So the crazy part about it, you know, I was 15. I didn't even understand what was going on. I went to court. Court was like a Charlie Brown. Like, I didn't understand anything. I just knew I wanted to go home. I don't like it here. And I didn't understand what remand was. I remember the first time I heard the word remand. Just said we're gonna remand. And I'm trying to decipher it. Like remand, re is before, man is maybe I'm going back home. And I took a year before I went to trial. And the whole time I'm saying to myself, I gotta go home, so I have to fight. I didn't understand law. I didn't understand what felony murder was. I didn't understand how serious my case was. For numerous reasons, 15.
Right. It's not registering.
Regardless of how mature society and life made me, in those circumstances, yes, I knew a whole lot of stuff that I shouldn't have known, and there was a lot of situations that I was able to get out of but mentally I wasn't prepared or trained, or I didn't have information. So going to court was a blur. My father put up the house to get a lawyer.
Wow.
And I remember his name was Steve Stone. I would put on record, he's an asshole. Steve Stone was a family friend. He used to come over for dinner. And I remember him telling me, listen, I'm your attorney, I'm your lawyer. This is what I do. I'm a professional. That word engraved in my head for a long time, professional. The first lawyer, who was an 18B appointed by the courts, said to me, the first day I met him, I'll get you 5 to life right now. So to a 15-year-old, 5 to life, I'm not even thinking about the life. 5? I can't tell you what a year is. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do in 6 months, like
right.
5 years. So we got the lawyer. Within a year of going to court, I remember we got to trial, the 3rd day of trial. The judge offered, or they made a plea deal. We offered him 7 to life. And I looked at my lawyer, 7 to life. He said, no, listen, you're juvenile. You got a year in going to court. You'll do a year in juvenile, then you'll transfer over to adult. 3 years, good time, stay out of trouble, you'll be home in 3 years, right? 3 years still was, so I didn't know what to do. I said, could I speak to my father? My father and my brother was in the audience. And the judge said, sure. The judge was my father. They offered me 7. They said, no, I said, they're giving me 3. I got a year, I just gotta do 2 more. What should I do? And for what he did, I understood, but it was too much for me. He said, listen, I could tell you, take the plea, and you do your whole time thinking you could beat it. Or I could tell you fight it, and you lose it, because I was looking at 18 of life if I do the trial. So I look at my brother Robbie, and I'm like, that didn't happen. My father didn't help me. But I get it now. I told my brother Robbie, and the relationship me and Robbie had was, he's the brother before me. I'm the baby in the family. He's the brother right before me. So we never had no arguments. It was just all loving. I turned to him and he said, you stupid motherfucker, take the charge. And it blew my mind, like, why are you talking to me like that? He understood the realism of the circumstances. I wasn't coming home. I was gonna blow trial if I tried to take the trial. So I copped out. When I copped out, I cried in court, I got a tear dropped on my face, man, 2 more years of this. And it was gladiator school. Like, I learned how to fight. Like, I fought when I was home.
And this is in juvenile?
Yeah. You know,
what juvenile facility was it?
Spofford. You know, I learned how to fight. I learned how to turn a socket into a lighter. I was just learning all kind of crazy stuff. So I'm like, 2 more years? And I remember going into the pen. So the next guy would come in, and it was an older guy. He's like, damn, young buck, you look like you're going to trial. And I was like, yeah, I just copped out. He said, you copped out too? I said, I took 7 to life. He went hysterical. Nah, young blood, get that shit back. Take 7 to 20. Take 7 to 40. And I'm like, what are you worrying about all that? I just got to do 3 years. I didn't even understand my kid. There's no good time for a life. I just took a plea to a life sentence. And I didn't even know. I had no clue. Until I got transferred up north and was doing intake. And the lady said, you got a board. Your first parole board was in 2000. This is 96. She said, you go to get board in 2000. 2000 something.
How old were you when you went up north?
I was 16.
16? I thought they transferred at 18, 21.
No. Oh no, so up north, all right, so I was in a juvenile up north. When I turned 21, they sent me to adult.
Okay.
They sent me to Clinton Correction. Call it that more. Clinton, they sent me.
So when you was 21, from 15 to 21, you were in a juvenile facility?
I was in a juvenile, yeah.
So your first ride to Clinton, what was that like?
My first ride, they knock on your door on your birthday. When you turn 21, it's like 1 a.m. Let's go, they pack me up. By then, I think I had the concept of bid. You know what I'm saying? I got locked up in 95. It's going close to, we in 2000. So I'm like, I got an idea of how to bid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was considered an OG in that realm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that's the same real. Within 24 hours, I was stabbed.
Oh my God.
Within 24 hours, I was stabbed in Clinton. Within 24 hours. It went in here, came out here, and he left it in me. Because I gave up a seat. I gave the man the seat. See, in juvenile, we all claim, everyone claims something. So this would be my brick. If you come in and you be like, yo, I want that seat, me and you scrap. So I'm figuring, I go upstate, I sit down. I haven't seen a TV by that time, probably like 4 years, because where I was didn't have a TV. I get to Clinton and I see a TV. The incident probably stemmed from the yard. Let me rewind. I went to the yard because if you want to find out what's going on in jail, you go to the yard, you see what gang runs the jail. So I'm doing homework. Go to the yard, and there's these lines in the yard. And never saw them, the other lines. So I'm standing in one, the guy comes up to me and says, yo, homie, this is our court. The brothers are gonna come, we're gonna cook. So I noticed there's these big barrels. You could cook outside. So I look at him and I'm like, is this a test? I don't say nothing. I walk away. Now I'm trying to hold face. I ain't being a punk, so I ain't saying nothing. I walk away. I want conflict. I get to another square, and then the Muslim brother comes to me. He's like, yo, Hakeem, the brothers are gonna make salat a little bit. So I move. White boy come to me, and I was like, he better not say nothing. A Spanish brother's walking up, and he says to me, Bobby, Jew in my spot. That's when I was like, alright, I'm a new dude. I know how this works. I said, man, how you moving? He said, Jew who? I said, no, I ain't moving, man. Everybody on courts, yard is locked, this court is empty. I ain't moving. I moved from here, Everybody who said they had someone coming, I moved. And he said, you crazy. So he starts walking away. I said, damn, I messed up. They gonna jump me. He walks over to who he was talking to, and all I see is he's fucking stabbing the guy he just was with. Stabbing him. And I'm like, where the hell am I? Like this is dude I just beat with. He just walked back to his man and stabbed his man. So this long goes off immediately. Everyone drops to the floor. And I'm not dropping. I just beat with a dude who stabbed somebody. And that was the first time I saw the ground in front of me erupt. Like it was concrete ground. It erupted like a volcano. That was the man in the tower with the AR-15 just took a warning shot. And I see this erupt, and he's like, yo, young, the next one's in you, look up. And I dropped. That was my first date.
Wow.
That was probably about 40 minutes in to the facility. So I get back to the cell. Everybody's telling me, yo, you got beef with the kid Speedy, blah, blah, blah. Yo, Speedy got 85 life. This is what he do for fun. So I didn't say a word to nobody. I don't trust nobody. I don't know nobody. So it was like, damn, they started calling me Quiet Storm. Because I didn't say nothing. I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
Yo, I just got here.
Right.
The next day is when I got stabbed. I went into the TV room. I was so excited to see news. It was like Canadian news. Like, I didn't care. It was a box that needed sound. Like, I just wanted to sit in front of it. And I prematurely sat down in the seat. And the dude was like, yo, Chan, that's not a seat. Initially, prison kicks in. I'm about to, son, let me take the seat. I thought about the yard. I just got here. I'm gonna give the man a seat. That's when I was supposed to punch him in his face. That's the moment I was supposed to do that. But I didn't because now, and that's the thing about prison. There's no manual. There's no manual. There's no, yo, bro, you do this, you do this, you do this. You can do this for 20 years and move to another facility. Everything you did in 20 years is almost forfeited. So I gave the man a seat. And I went to the back of the TV room and I stood against the wall. And that probably was my second mistake. Because I probably came with a confrontation. She just left. And at the same time, I didn't want to, I really wasn't scared. I was a little bothered that I gave him the seat. And I think that's just conditioning over the years of how we did prison stuff. And they called the camera. And as I was going to the camera, I'm walking through the doorway, it's a little door. I went through the doorway, and when I went to reach for my turn, I saw stars. I thought somebody punching. And I went like that, and then I couldn't bend my arm to do this. It was like, and I was like, oh, this guy punched me. And a brother named Muhammad took off his shirt and he threw it over my shoulder and he said, you got stabbed. Go in your cell, put your hand in the sink. Don't pull it out, leave it. And I'm like, what? I get to my cell and I see it in my arm. And it was made from an industry fan, the little piping of the metal. You take that, you get 2 of them, you kind of sharpen the hand, throw it in the tape. So it's sitting in me now. It's sitting in me, came in here, how I don't know stab 101. You know what I'm saying? I don't know stab. This is why he told me put it in the sink, don't pull it out. I pull it out. Blood. I'm like, oh, so I put it in the sink. Now I'm looking at my cell like, it's count. Once I'm gonna walk by, you're gonna see this. I know I can't snitch. But now I'm gonna go to the box for this. And they're gonna whip me out because I ain't gonna tell. So I'm like, damn, I just got here. You also walk past myself. He walked past myself. So I'm like, yo, I got like 3 shirts. I got 3 shirts. I got nothing to even clean this up. And Muhammad comes back to me. And Muhammad puts a bag of dope on my bed. Bag of dope, a little stab, and a sewing kit. Man, I was like, yo, you gotta sew that up, bro. I'm like, sew this up. He said, you can't go to the infirmary. You going to the infirmary? You going to the infirmary? I knew I couldn't go to the infirmary. I'm not trying to sew myself up. I was like, yo, I don't do drugs, man. He said, yo, it makes it easier, man. I said, nah, I ain't doing drugs, man. I took it in frustration. I took it through the toilet. Because now I'm looking at you like you rocking me to sleep too.
Right.
I'm just all over the place. He walks out of my cell quietly. Now, he right. I can't go to him. So I opened up the song. It was only red thread too. He didn't even have like brown thread. It was red thread. And I called myself a song to myself. Oh, you were fat. He got numb. And then he came back to my cell probably close to an hour later. And he looked at me and said, that's not how you so scared me.
Oh my God.
He mad at me. And I'm like, yo, bro, the world is just completely different. Like the transition of adapting and holding a piece of you is a very strenuous task to keep you, but live the land. Because if you don't live the land, there won't be no you. And that's the conflict that a lot of us go. You end up cutting it, showing you how to sew yourself. You actually sew up the 2 sides, and then you sew what you sew to make a pocket on the skin. And I sewed myself up. My thing was purple. I saw it was gonna get infected. But the heartbreaker for me was the very next day, my father drove all the way to Clinton. My father now is 95. He had me when he was 50, so he was already up there. And he's old school, no GPS, no that. He just drove his car, came to see me, and I had to refuse to visit because they would have strip searched me.
And he would have saw
that. And that crushed me. That hurt me more than the sentencing. That crushed me. That I had to, I don't want to see him. Because they be like, yo, I refuse to visit. Why? I don't want to see him. He had to tell my pops that. And I'm new, so I'm not getting the phone privilege yet. I gotta meet to my counselor because my ID just came from reception. Because you gotta use your ID to know. So I can't get a phone call probably for like a week before I could call out. I don't have money for stamps. I don't have any of that. So I just had to thug it out. And that was my transition into the state. And that moment, he said something to me, Muhammad, when he came to my cell that night. He put a Glock, it's called a Glock. It's styrofoam, it's fiberglass, usually from lighting. Most of the lighting, we have a casing that hooks over, that holds the panel. You'll break the middle panels, it'll still hold, you don't know the pieces missing in the middle. He brought one sharpened, clean, packaged up nice with a handle. He put it on my bed. And I remember throwing a pullover. And I was like, what's that? What's that? And he said, yo, you don't need that. Because you ain't telling him. You still living here. They looking at you like you revenging. You won't need that. And I remember saying to him, yo, I'm here for a body. I'm not trying to kill nobody here. And this man ain't know me from Hollywood. His name is Muhammad, man. wherever he's at, man, I tried to ride him and never wrote me back. But he gave me this fatherly, like, what? You worrying about killing someone and not going home? He said, you better worry about living. And that changed my whole bit. I said to myself, I'll never get cut, stabbed, punked, nothing ever again. He changed my whole bit, my whole mentality. Because I was waging, and it's a conflict. How you tell someone, don't wage your behavior towards going home, but at that same time, it could cloud you. And in that state for me, I'd have died. I'd have got killed. If I can't protect myself because I fear going home. I have to say that I gotta live. And Muhammad, that just the way he said it just sparked something in me. And my whole bit changed. My whole mentality changed from that point. It changed.
What do you think was the hardest part of your bid?
The hardest part of bid for me, and I think for a lot of brothers, the bid, the circumstance around, the lifestyle, the riots, the corruption of officers, yes, it's the outside world still growing without you. See, when you're in prison, it's like being dead, right? But you get to see who brought you flowers to your grave. And the outside world don't understand that, so they continue living. But the moment you're arrested, my memory stopped it. So here I am, I'm a 20-something-year-old man with 15-year-old memories. My memory stopped it. So I'm holding on to every single thing. And the things that I'm holding on to, they blossomed. They grew, they got relationships. They're going through hardships. They're going through death. But all I got is my memories. And that's the hardest part, holding on to your memories. And this is why, there's a big joke, guys sell dreams to people when they get out. And it's really not that they sell dreams. No, it's a big joke.
No, they do. I say that all the time.
It's a big joke. But the truth in a lot of that, and guys, when I get out, I'm gonna do this. It's in that moment, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's sincere to the core. But then they get placed into the activity of the world movement. And they realize, this ain't my stop. I said I was getting off at this stop. This ain't my stop. And I didn't chase them. And that's one of the terrible things to do. A dude is chasing himself in society. He's trying to get that. You can't chase your time when you lost that. And it's difficult. So that's one of the things that
I think a lot of people that were incarcerated, when they come home, they try to play catch up,
yes.
As they say, because they missed out on all this time, and they don't realize that, like you said, you can try to run all you want, but it's like those years have passed and gone,
Yeah. And then the catch-up thing, which is very difficult, like a lot of those who come home, I try to snatch them as quick as I can. It's not even that they just doing what they know. They just doing what they know and what they remember.
Right.
And trying to fall back into that pipeline of comfortability. Well, it just kept moving. And that's where the conflict comes.
How long was your sentence?
My sentence was sentenced to 7 to life. I did 13 years.
13 years. How old were you when you came home?
28.
Oh wow, that's still young. I mean, not to take away from your life, but that's still a good age to try to get it together.
28.
How did you feel when you heard that you were being released?
It was my 4th parole board. I kept getting hit because I had 7, so they kept hitting me on my parole board. Rutgers University took a liking to me, and they were helping me prep for my parole board. They was also doing my appeals. So we had a mock parole board hearing on trick questions. Parole boards are it's basically just formalities. They'll sit there and they'll be like, you're convicted of murder, so you was 15, yes. You got this, yes. Oh, you did this program, yes. Okay, we'll be back to you. There was this one question that they asked me every parole board. If you could go back in time and change what you did, would you? And I answer it sincerely. Or as I thought was sincere. Yes, I would go back. I I ruined a lot of lives. This person who's gone, everyone that knows him is affected. I affected my family, I affected. I go on and they be like, well, Mr. Campbell, you can't go back in time. Stuff like that. So, my lawyer was like, we're gonna prepare for this program. When they ask you this question, you're gonna answer it without answering it. You're gonna go into just directly the lives you affected. And they painted it nicely. So on my full program, I went into the board like that day, I don't know what it was. I'm not going. I'm probably gonna do like 20 out of this 25 before they decide I'm going. So I went in there with like go ahead, you gonna ask me some shit? I'm gonna tell you some shit. And that question came. And they asked it early. Mr. Campbell, you go back in time. Would you change what you did? And I said no. And that's kind of what it's 3 parole commissioners. 2 of them are looking at the file for who's next. They're not paying me no attention. When I said that, they all looked up. And I said, no, I wouldn't go back. You know why I wouldn't go back? Because I know me now. And yes, and I went into yes, life was simple. And many lives were affected. I affected lives that probably weren't even born because now they're born with a person missing in their life. But the person that I am today and the things that I value, I don't know if I would have learned those gems or learned those appreciations without going through the circumstances. So for me as a being, I wouldn't trade that shit for nothing. And at that moment, I was like, it ain't gonna hit me. when they were quiet, I was like, yeah. I'll come back next year, and then 2 more years from now, and I'll be like, you know what? I will go back. But I got it off, and I saw the shift. But I didn't think I was going home. They started asking me about, well, we see that you have all these programs. I made sure every program you can name, I was certified. Alcohol abuse, narcotics, parenting, I wasn't even a parent. Teacher's aid, you name it. We went to college, I took sociology, criminology, anything that they had. I did. I was a nurse aide, so they was going. I said, I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that. Like, Mr. Campbell, why you don't want to hear any of that? I said, because none of that defines me. That's certificates. I said, yo, if y'all had the dog walk program still, I'd have did that. I don't even like dogs. I don't want to hear it. And they're like, we want to just do this for the record. And I said, you have been doing this for the record. Let's talk about why I'm here. They never want. When you get hit at a parole board, there's one line that they always use. Due to the nature of your crime. So regardless of what I could do, they could just say, due to the nature of the crime. The one thing I cannot change. I can't change it. I could do every program. I had so many programs, they made me sweep a hallway that was smaller than this. That was my job every day. Just sweep the hallway. You can't do nothing. You have everything, just sweep this hallway. So I wanted to get to the guts of it. And I was like, yo, life is tough. I want to talk about that. And we really got to go in depth how I was feeling about the life. How about my life now? When I woke up the parole board, lady looked up and she said, good luck. And I was like, nah, y'all told me that already. Because my first parole board, they told me, be a good citizen. When you get out there, be a good man. Have a nice day. I thought I was going home. I got hit. Crushed me. My brother bought outfits for me, everybody thinking I'm coming home, and I get hit with 2 years. This is my 4th parole board. At that stage, I'm like, yo, man, I'm not saying I got comfortable. But in my head, I was trying to grasp the reality that I'm probably gonna be here for a while before I touch the town again. And I walked out. They mail you your decision in a minute. 2 days later, they make you wait. It's just torturous. 2 days later, they mail it to you. The joke of it is, if it's fat, that's your appeal papers in there. So you got hit. If it's slim, you got your decision. So they call me, go to the law library. Everybody's getting it better. They busting it around. I fold mine up, put it in my pocket, went to the yard, and I did some sets. I was working out. Everybody like, yo, what was your decision? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Cause I was like, yo, I ain't gonna let that fuck up my day today. I'll wait till tonight and I'll sleep on that shit. When I went to my cell that night, I threw it in the locker. I was already in depression mode because I'm like, I know they hit me. And I remember sitting down with my mom. I said, we just open this up so I can get the pill straight and all that. And it's an early release. And I stopped and I was like, oh shit. I folded it and I sat and I was like, I'm touching the town. Like I had to have a moment with myself, like compute. I had to compute, like I'm gonna be out of here. And I remember telling my man next to me, like, bro, they gave me a date. And he was like, word? I was like, yeah, man, they gave me a date. And I called home, I called my pops, and I was like, yo, Pop, man, I'm coming home. And he just got quiet. You know, my pop's old school Jamaican. So emotions and stuff.
Yeah, they don't feel it.
I got his ass out that shit now, but he was quiet and he was just like, I'm happy, my boy, I'm happy. And I spoke to my sister and I called my lawyers and you know, they had me on speaker and the whole office erupted. And it was just like, yo, I made it. Like out of all this stuff, I made it and I held me. Like that was always something that I always wanted to pride myself on. When I touch the town, who I am, I don't want my actions to display prison. I want you gotta hear it from me. I don't want like, hey, look like he been through something. I don't want. So when I got out, they transferred me, the story gets very interesting. They transferred me to Queensborough. In the process of that, me and Speedy, that was stabbing, we had another run. It didn't work out in his favor, this running. He was taunting me. He got transferred to a jail I was in. I'm gonna try to fast forward. We got transferred to a jail I was in. And I told my man, try it. I was like, that's something that stabbed me. And this kid tried it. I told him, yo, you gotta take this energy and put this in good use. He had 2 years to do it. He said, yo, son, I'll put about his life, man. I'll do the 15. You about to go to your next war. Sit tight. How can I tell you? Nah, man, like you touching the town, like, and that's another thing that a lot of our loyalty and who we are as a being, we present it and place it in hands that don't. I could easily when I wash my hands with that, I could get a sun touch and I could still, yeah, son, do that for me. I told him no. I was just gonna wait it out, but I knew it was gonna reach a point. I mean, Speedy was gonna face to face. So every time he went to the yard, I cooked. He went to chow, I ate. He came back to shower, yo, I had a nice little system. Like, I'm gonna avoid him as much as I can, but it's gonna come a time where, and it was a time he was going to the yard. And I'm waiting on the day when he goes to the yard, I go set up my food, got my jack man, cut my corn. I never forget, I just cut the corn, and I look, he ran back to the door. He's looking. Now I'm like, oh, he's looking for where the officer is. I'm looking like, what am I gonna do? The kitchen's one way in, one way out to the room. And I see him now coming to the door. And I'm looking. And I saw the can top. I never figured I grabbed the can top, I put my finger in the middle and I bent it. And by the time I turned around, he was in the doorway. I just stiff armed and I grabbed, I went black. I don't remember chopping him with it. I just felt like this burst of heat. I was so hot. By the time I remember, I'm in the bathroom. Everybody said, yo, Spud, take your clothes off. Take your clothes off. Bloody. I jump in the shower to make sure I'm not bleeding. The alarm goes off. I get dressed. I'm in my cell now. I look like I just showered. I'm like, damn, he gonna tell you. I was like, yo, son, you saw him? Yo, that's crazy. I don't remember seeing him. I don't remember none of that. He held it there. He never said nothing. So, and now I'm getting back to getting transferred to Queensborough. I get transferred to Queensborough, which is they bring you closer to the city. They said it's a transitional program. It's not. If they don't want to pay the bus ticket and give you a Metro card and give you $200, it avoids that. They bring you closer, they just give you a Metro card. It's about money. So they send me to Queensborough, which is in Wild City, and I get on the block. Who I see? Speed. And my heart drops. I didn't know he was on appeal. he gave back. I think it was 20 years, so he got time served. He killed the cab driver. He got time served. So he was going home. And I was like, nah, I ain't fucking this up. I went straight to him and stopped about 10 feet. And I said, bro, what we doing? You obviously going home, I'm going home. He was like, Joe, that's it. I said, nah, I can't live here with you looking like that. Because if I look like you, I ain't going home. What we gonna do? Are we fucking it up now? I'm not going to sleep. I'm not leaving you. Are we fucking this up now? And did I want to fuck it up? No. My adrenaline, because this is the first time I saw him. And I was like, there's a part, well for me, I don't want to say everybody, there's a part in me like, when I saw him, I knew the circumstances, but there was a part of me like, damn, son.
Yeah.
You were capable of that shit, bro? Like, that's your doing?
But you was pushing a situation where it was him and you.
Yes. But just the morality of it, like, I'm looking at him and I'm just like, you ain't wearing that. I would. And he looked at me and he said, okay. And he walks away from me and he goes to the officer. And I was like, I know he ain't gonna tell. And so the officer just ushered him out. I guess he told the officer he couldn't live there. And I remember going to my bunk.
He packed it up?
He packed it up. And I sat on my bunk. And that's when I said it. And I said it out loud, like, not screaming, but I verbalized it. This shit is really over. Like, this shit is really over. Because I didn't think he was gonna do that. I thought it was gonna be a confrontation.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going home. I'm really going home. And I couldn't even sleep that night. I was laying on my bunk like, wow, like, this shit is turning its tail. About a week in there, I had a co-defendant who I worked in intake. They give everybody a job. So intake, outtake, I give the person their clothes. I actually gave my co-defendant his clothes to go home. And me and him had a little, it wasn't peaceful for a lot of years. Later on, we bumped heads into another facility and we hashed it out. But I remember giving him my stuff, his boots and his clothes. And I was like, yo, son, man. I didn't think I was ever gonna see him again. And I was like, yo, son, stay free, bro. And that was another chapter. I felt that I was able to kind of iron out or put closure to. The day I was getting released, I got dressed. They got us in intake with a whole bunch of guys that's going home. I remember an officer, black lady, she's like, yo, who can me? Who can me? She came in with I called the Miss Bus Driver attitude. And I'm like, me. And she was like, you ain't coming back. You ain't coming. I was like, what is all this about? I didn't know the whole family came. They had moved to Florida. Everyone lived in Florida. So they all was outside. And they kept asking me, like, yo, when he's getting out? And I didn't know why she said that. So when I got outside, I remember I opened the door, people running to cars. I put my bag down and I looked up. And I just wanted to see the skies for a few minutes. Because in the yard, we spin the yard. That's a phrase we say, I'm gonna go spin the yard. Kind of clear your head. You always just look at the sky. And the sky it's ironic that the sky that we knew free was always cloudy and muggy looking, and the sky you looked at as free was always clear and bright. And I looked up and it was bright. It was beautiful. And when I looked down, I saw my nephew, my sister, my niece, and I was looking and they all was just like scattered. And then the lady came out. She was like, yo, my whole time working here, I never seen this many people come and see a person get released. And I was like, that's why she said that to me. She said it was so like, but, and that day was my first day home. It was crazy. And people didn't understand this. They said, what you want to do? I said, let's get something to eat. It was a little overwhelming because I didn't know it was going to be as many people. I was being paroled to my 4th grade teacher, Patricia Groves, because all my family was in Florida. She was very intricate she was very intricate since I was a kid. And she was there while I was locked up and when I got out to prevent me from going to a halfway house or a shelter. She was like, no way, you paroled to my house. So she was there, I went to get something to eat. Everybody's like, what you want to do? What you want to do? And I was like, I want to go to parole. Everybody's like, you want to go to parole? You're free. Send me, I want to go to parole. Drive me to parole right now. I waited 13 years to face this person. I want to go to parole square. Because you got 24 hours or 36 hours. No, I want to go now. So everyone was confused. And they drove me to parole. Even the PO was like, you just got out, Mr. Campbell. And I was like, I want to get this on the table now. Like, we're going to be seeing each other. I don't have time to waste for that. And I think that gave me a little edge with him. Because I did not follow parole. Curfew, I did not follow parole. I was all over the place. I went to a club and he was in it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, come see me tomorrow, Mr. Campbell. And I was like, I'll be there. But I went to see parole and then I went to my mother's too. And I felt that was the steps I needed to do just personally. And then, I went to see family members. It was a lot though. Like the transition to come home was a lot. There was no internet.
Oh, you got, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was no internet. I remember being in the car. This is when I was in the car. And I'm driving by and we stopped. I'm like, and I'm like, but Vinny, I'm like, yo, Vinny, let me ask you a question. Why is everybody talking to themselves? And he was like, oh, that's Bluetooth. I got quiet. In my head, I was like, okay, I'm gonna brush my teeth like 20 times because I'm gonna catch Bluetooth. I did not know. I did not know that people were talking to a device called Bluetooth. But I'm just saying, people walking and talking, it was a new world. It was I didn't know how to get on a bus. I was like, there's no talking.
There was nothing that the jails offered to prepare you for, like, the change in the world when you came home?
Nothing. And especially for brothers who...
Did they offer any help, like, mentally?
No, mentally.
Like mental health counseling or something?
You on your own. In parole, they had a parole meeting and they was like, listen, I guess it was overpopulated, that we're gonna wind down guys who break the rules of curfew. Even we're gonna give you guys a 3 thing. If you get tested once, you gotta go to a program. If you get tested twice, you lose your parole privileges. If you get tested, you go back. They was doing this whole thing. And then at the end, they were like, if you sentenced to life, you just fucked. So anybody sentenced to life, you guys can move to the side. And I remember that day, I got up. And I was the only one, and I got up and I sat to the side. And they were like, did the orientation without me. Like, that was a setup for failure. For me, I was just like, fuck y'all. I don't want to hear that shit anyway. I gotta get to what I gotta do. I took a lot of, I love no's. I love, yo, that's impossible. Yo, you won't be able to do that. Yo, you a guy in your skin, in your background. I love it because I heard it. Yo, you're not gonna touch down to about 40. Yo, you're not gonna be able to get to the car. You're not gonna be able to, oh, I heard it. So when they did that, I spoke to the supervisor and I was like, how do you want to say that? Like, how do you expect me to feel when you said, I'm just fucked? Oh, don't personalize. How do I don't personalize? Y'all even told me to move. Then they put me in alcohol abuse program. They put me in Narcotics Anonymous. They put me in a bunch of, I was like, I was 15, like Narcotics Anonymous. I'm in groups talking about, yo, I didn't do any narcotics. You're in denial. They got the group attacking me. I had to lie. Yeah, messed with some heroin a few times. Hello, glad to meet you. And I was like, I had to play the game, but parole, there was no help. There was no help.
Are you still on parole today?
No, I actually got off.
Oh my God, congratulations! That's so good. To be a lifer, somebody signed off, that is like amazing. When took 90 chance.
There's a story behind it. When I came home, my lawyer from Rutgers was saying, listen, you got an interesting story, like just the whole story. Why don't you come speak at the school? So I said, all right, cool, I'll speak. I'll get there. There's a whole auditorium. They had the news there, they had everyone there. This was my first time speaking. My first time speaking there. So I just went there, like, you need a pad? I was like, a pad? I'm just gonna walk y'all.
I paint this picture from a dark place. Touching all base, 18 next to Canada. Think I saw Drake. Nah, but I saw he was in the big box. He told me keep my shoes tied. Don't ever leave a bruised pride. COs hold they noose high. Favorites of their own kind. Prison in their own mind. We living through it due to time. Niggas snitching, dropping dimes. Never was a friend of mine. Working out my figure fine, but I just wanna hug my mom. Tell my shorty she the one.